Hi, my name is Lauren Dintler, and welcome to my presentation on collection policies in the library for Info 5405. So why have a collection policy? Collection policies provide a system to help the library identify where a more diverse selection of books in the library is needed. It provides a professional guideline for what books to include in the library collection. It helps when weeding books to determine what should stay and what should go. Diverse libraries. Having a collection policy allows for more diverse libraries because it creates a guideline for the librarian to use when selecting books. Librarians can use the collection policy to draft their own documents and organization that are used to assess what is needed and what is not needed within the library as a whole. For example, they can ask questions such as, are there more books needed for BIPOC representation, disability representation? Do I have all sides of an issue represented within the library? This can be incredibly useful because collection policies often require that libraries have multiple sides of an issue. Professional guideline. A collection policy provides a professional guideline for what should be in a collection. Knowing what is required and expected in a collection can help the librarian when asking for funding or prioritizing what needs to be added. Should online resources be prioritized over physical books? Do makerspace collections have guidelines? And are there guidelines for where resources should be purchased from? Often districts outline this in their own collection policies, and so it's useful to have one so that you as a librarian know what has come before, what librarians before you have done, and what librarians in the future will do as well, and how to use that to effectively build your collection. Weeding. Library collections need to be weeded continuously, but it can be difficult to know where to start and start with that without a collection policy. Collection policies provide the expectations and guidelines for what should be weeded and what that collection should look like over time. Is the goal to have the collection age within the most recent decade? Are recent titles prioritized over the old standards? Knowing what to look for and what to weed is very difficult and often can ruffle a few feathers on campus. So having a collection policy that outlines what is weeded, when it is weeded, and how it is weeded can be very useful when having those conversations with administrators who may not like the books that you are choosing to weed because it might have been their favorite when they were a kid. Self-censorship. I chose the article, They're So Stinkin' Popular, How Could You Say No? Graphic Novel Collection Development and School Librarian Self-Censorship by Moeller and Becknell. The article discusses the self-censorship that librarians tend to engage in when assessing graphic novels for their collection. Graphic novels, although popular, have been received in either highly positive or highly negative ways by library patrons, which can cause the librarian to look at graphic novels differently than other library resources. Self-censorship. Self-censorship is limiting availability and access to materials that patrons would normally be able to access because of fear or controversy or outcry. Bias is a natural part of being a human being, living in a world that contains other humans with other experiences in life. But part of being a librarian is challenging that bias and making sure we are creating a collection that is open to anyone who has access. Everyone needs to be reflected within the collection. Overall, I learned that more education and professional development is needed in libraries to help prevent the self-censorship we so often see in the school environment. Within the article, it was really interesting because they actually found that a lot of librarians didn't realize they were self-censoring. They knew that the things that they were doing would affect their job security or might cause a confrontation. So they were a little bit more careful about what books they chose, but in reality, they were self-censoring, which kind of goes against our ethical guidelines. Children's collection development. Quality means something different in children's literature because it's about what a child is getting out of it. Quality comes from the interaction with text, stories, and characters, not from analyzing a highbrow piece of literature the way we would look at it as an adult. I think this article is useful because it allows the librarian insight into why some books may be more popular than others. When building a collection, we have to remember to look through a child's eyes and not just through our own adult ones. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much.